On this episode, we talk to coffee aficionado Noon about Thailand's growing coffee industry.
So if you've ever felt lame buying coffee in Starbucks or hunted for ages trying to find the perfect brew at a high-end roaster, you'll dig this episode of the Bangkok Podcast.
Sawadee krap, and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who had a conversation with a work colleague today and learned that she was 1 year old when I first came to Thailand.
Welcome to my world. Many of my students, actually all of my current students were not born when I first came to Thailand by far.
It was sobering.
Yes, for sure. And I met Knuth, an American who came to Thailand on a 1-year teaching contract over 25 years ago. Fell in love with insisting on speaking Thai to Thai people while they insist on speaking English with me, so I never left. Dude, it just happened to me in Starbucks. I know this is kind of an old thing, but it just happened to me again where I was in Starbucks and when, I want to use Thai and then the woman behind the counter, obviously, I guess she wants to show me she speaks English, it's pretty obvious that her English is going to be better than my Thai. So we just had an entire conversation where she's speaking English and I'm speaking Thai the whole time.
It's so funny. I still love the guy at the train museum that I saw, and I started speaking Thai with him. And after a while, he kind of looks at me gently and goes, "Let's switch to English."
Well, I like it when both people just don't acknowledge that you're speaking different, that I'm speaking her language, she's speaking mine. I like when we just both just roll with it.
It's a great open, man. You should just look at her and say, why don't we switch to the most common language of love? There you go.
All right, on that note, we want to give a big thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get every episode a day early, behind-the-scenes photos of our interviews, a heads up to send questions to upcoming guests, and access to our Discord server to chat with me, Greg, and other listeners around the world. But best of all, patrons also get an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we riff on current events and Bangkok topics. On this week's bonus show, we chatted about Greg's ultra nerdy new hobby hiding geocaches around Bangkok, how overly strict restrictions on banking and visa regulations are messing things up for people who have nothing to do with the problem the regulations are trying to solve, and discussions on Bangkok's music scene, including upcoming concerts by Kraftwerk, David Byrne, and a famous Japanese banjo player. To learn how to become a patron and get all this good stuff, plus full access to over 800 bonus and regular back episodes, click the support button at the top of our website.
Right. And don't forget, if you listen to us on Spotify, you can now hear all of our bonus shows there as well. If you're a patron, simply link your Patreon account to your Spotify account and add our new feed titled Bangkok Podcast Badass Patrons Only to hear the regular and bonus shows in the same place. All right. On this episode, we chat with a woman named Noon, former president and now an honorable advisor of the Specialty Coffee Association of Thailand, which, according to its website, works to advance the Thai coffee industry through standards, education, and competitions. Noon is also the managing director of Lamarzocco Thailand, and if you don't know that brand, imagine if Ferrari partnered with Rolex to build coffee machines, and you'll be on the right track. They are super, super high-end stuff.
Oh, cool.
So Noon and I sat down a while ago to talk about coffee culture in general, why the Thai coffee industry is so unique, and why getting a cup of joe at Starbucks isn't necessarily as bad as it's made out to be. So here is my very interesting conversation with my coffee friend, Noon. All right. Well, we are sitting here in a fittingly, or actually probably not very fittingly considering who we're talking to. We're sitting in a Starbucks, so you might hear some little frothing and noise in the background, but that's okay. I'm sitting here with Noon, who is the former president of the Specialty Coffee Association of Thailand, current honorary advisor. You've got a lot of titles. And the MD of Lamarzocco Thailand, which is a very luxe coffee machine company. And we're going to talk about that. So something that is really exciting for me because I'm a huge fan of coffee. I think a lot of our listeners are huge fans of coffee. And I've always liked coffee. And it's such a weird drink because it can be shitty coffee and you can just drink it for the effect of the caffeine, or it can be a whole ritual with really high-end stuff. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Noon. How did you come into the coffee game? And we'll start there.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to share this because I know that many of your, I would say, listeners are not in coffee industry. More like a food and beverage, some of them, but not in coffee industry. So when I say coffee industry, my background is not coffee as well. I graduated in 2010, and then I joined aerospace industry, and then I moved to ExxonMobil, which is oil and gas, and then I moved to coffee. But my coffee journey starts since 2010 to 11. It became my serious hobby at the time, and I'm a nerd. And
coffee nerd.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. So I'm a nerd of everything, every topic really. So if I'm interested in something, I go deep. So I look up all the information, research and stuff. So when I find myself into coffee, I just go deep.
Right.
Yeah, and then at the time, I was really focused on quality. That's how I started because my first job was quality, was in quality department.
In aerospace. I hope you did a good job because that's what I want when I'm flying on an airplane is quality.
Well, I can tell you a little bit more about that.
Oh, God.
But so I really focus on quality, and what the quality means is really much to do in the cup quality and how we test it, and that's what people perceive. And then when I look into more on how it's make a good taste profile, is we have to trace back to the origin, and what the coffee is actually interesting because it's other than the really information that everybody knows that is the second biggest trade in the world after the oil and stuff, but specialty coffee or coffee in general, there's so many people and players that has touched on it along the supply chain, like many people. We are talking about the logistic and stuff as well. So what I'm saying is, to actually have good quality coffee, every single party in the coffee chain, the main job is to preserve the quality from the origin until to the coffee drinker.
Right. You mentioned earlier when we were talking about consistency.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's what you mean. Like every step of the supply chain needs to be consistent and focused on quality.
Yeah, it's really have to be very intentional.
Yeah.
So even though some can be, when you say low quality coffee, low quality coffee also has its place. But then when the quality gets sorted or how the quality being evaluated, so I start as that. And then it took me to coffee origin, and I'm Thai. So I see more of the coffee origin in Thailand. And I saw like, I was like a kid, so I see my eye gets so sparkling and see like there's like a lot of potential here.
Yeah.
And we are talking about 2011. So when I see that we can progress in terms of quality to match with, not even match, but create our own terms of quality in Thai coffee, that's got me going. And also like when I said to benchmark with other origin, that's also because when I travel, I get to experience more on the other countries that more developed in consumption.
Right.
And for example, like in Germany or in UK or Australia, they are really developed in consumption since, 30 years. So when I travel, I get to see that can happen in Thailand too. So I'm trying to see how Thailand can progress in that sense. Yeah.
So would you say that Thailand's coffee scene or coffee industry is fairly immature compared to other countries?
At the moment, no. This is really interesting. I love that question. So our growth rate is crazy.
Yeah.
So what I mentioned about the development in origin, that was 2011, and that is only like 15 years ago. But everything happened so fast. Like right now, I can say that Thailand is actually developed both production and consumption. And we are the only country as a producing country that have a very developed cafes and consumption
Okay.
in Thailand. And we progress so well. And there's actually a factor that contribute to that actually. Because firstly, it's there was a time when like because you were here quite some time. So there's a lot of people that sent their children to study overseas.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And usually it's Australia, UK, New Zealand.
Places with long histories of
States.
coffee. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what they brought back was a lot of things, and including this cafe culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one of the factors that's contribute to it. But the growth rate of the production side is mainly because our infrastructure in Thailand. Like right now, we're sitting here in Sathorn, in the middle of Bangkok. If we want to go to coffee farm, we can be there in 4 hours. This is not like any other origin country.
That's interesting because we talk about this a lot on the podcast. And one of the major appeals of Thailand, and one of the things especially about Bangkok that's so cool, is that it's got all of the high-end Western conveniences, but it's also got the funky Asianness. And if you get in a car and drive an hour, you're in the middle of rice fields and jungle,
Exactly.
So it's a really unique ecosystem for this type of business to exist, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you put it just so nice, beautifully, because I see it as a beautiful chaos.
Right. But like in Berlin, you have great coffee.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't drive an hour and be in a jungle or a coffee plantation.
No, not at all.
You're in France.
And this is, I think, Thailand is really charming in that way. You have we have mountain, we have the beautiful beach, we have everything literally. So what I'm saying is, the growth rate is this high, and we develop so fast, so quickly, is because the communication is very short
Okay.
between people who actually serving coffee, roasting coffee, and they can reflect the cup profile to the farmer very quickly.
You know what it's like? Thailand is Apple. Because Apple computers, they make the hardware, they make the software, they make the chips, and it's all vertically integrated, and
Yeah.
it's in the same ecosystem as
Yes.
very well together.
And this is, and you are so right, because Thailand by far is the most, and I travel to many other origin countries as well, like even our neighbors' country,
Right.
in Indonesia, the famous one, in our neighbor country, or even in Kenya, Tanzania, Colombia, Brazil. Even Brazil, seriously. It's impossible for you to actually get to the farm from the city
Really?
within a day. No, it took me like 38 hours.
Oh my God.
Actually, because it's huge, it's massive. Even in Colombia, that seems like it's not as big, but still, the road is not that
The
great.
infrastructure is not there,
Yeah,
right?
the infrastructure is not that great. So what happened is, the farmer and the farmer and the business owner, like the cafe owner, that's actually the communication is lacking. So coffee drinker, we see it as a drink. A farmer, they see it as a plant.
Right.
So they don't really see what we are talking about, the cup profile and thing. And with that long communication, or some, and even now in origin country, they are so advanced as well that the farmer know how to do the cupping. Cupping is the sensory evaluation, the
Okay.
quality evaluation
Okay.
of coffee. So they can actually evaluate their coffee at the farm. But then, if you don't get the chance to actually cup together, do the cupping together, evaluate the coffee at the same time.
So there's a disconnect between the farmers and the
Exactly.
vendors and the
Yeah.
producers. Yeah.
So you don't really speak in the same language. So it's okay, but it's slower down the progression.
Right.
But in Thailand, it's super easy. Like coffee drinker, cafe owner, roaster, they just fly to the origin
Interesting.
and do the cupping together.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
select the lot.
This reminds me, years ago, you can probably still find this online, actually, on YouTube. There was a really interesting documentary, about a French documentary, and this French TV crew flew to, I think it was Guyana. No, not Guyana. Some chocolate producing country. And they went to interview the people who harvest the chocolate, the cocoa pods. And they had never tasted chocolate. And
Exactly.
they gave them the chocolate, and the guys were like, oh my God, is this what we're making? And one of the funny lines was, one of the guys said, this is why those white people are so strong and healthy. But that's a really interesting idea. The communication is what really helped Thailand's coffee industry evolve and grow and mature.
Yeah.
Interesting. Where do Thai coffee beans sit in relation to the world? Are they really high quality? Are they different or unique in any way?
Well, this is a thing about Thailand is the farmer actually more advanced these days. The younger generation go back home to actually produce coffee, processing coffee is great. But what we are sitting in the world stage internationally is not yet that defined. And this is a job as well when we mean Specialty Coffee Association of Thailand. We actually really trying to shape that direction of where it's going to sit, how the world going to know about Thai coffee. Because firstly, we are not exporting.
Don't export. Thailand exports.
Very little.
Oh, okay.
And there's reason behind that because in Thailand, we consume 90,000 tons a year. We produce Arabica coffee, 15,000.
Oh, so it's a net importer.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what we are drinking, I
At
don't
Starbucks?
think.
Sorry,
Definitely.
my low quality trash coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah. So we can actually forget about it, like that we're going to export. And why we are not increasing in terms of production? Because firstly, our geographically is not that feasible to actually grow good quality coffee trees. We have very limited land that actually very good for the coffee tree. And Thailand, our competitive advantage has to come from quality because otherwise if you're trying to do it more on quantity, you cannot compete with the neighbor countries.
Okay, like Indonesia and things like that. Yeah.
Like our CLMV country, they are producing coffee and we never be able to match their labor cost.
I do love Laotian coffee. It's
Yeah.
real good. Yeah.
That's why we have to find our own identity and the meaning of Thai coffee.
okay.
So when we talk about like where we are sitting in the world right now, it's people get more of knowledge about Thai coffee because we're trying to communicate more in terms of having testing here and there in other country, in other region, but mostly it's not that yet defined, I would say.
Interesting. So what is the Specialty Coffee Association doing to change that?
We actually focus more right now. It's about the variety because for the past 10 years, we have been doing in terms of processing because in terms of coffee varietal is really something that is very specific. What we had for the past 10 years was we look at our current varieties in Thailand and it's not that great. And there's reason for that too, because we are so young as a producing country. The coffee actually being planted to get rid of the opium.
Sure. Yeah.
issues.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Famously, if you're not familiar, listeners, like many decades ago, opium was one of the biggest products coming out of the northern Thailand of the Golden Triangle. But a lot of royal initiatives and other initiatives sort of worked to replace opium with coffee as a crop.
Yes.
And
at the time, it was to solve the problem. So the variety has to be productive, economically, and also more sustainably in terms of it has to be very resistant, very productive.
Right.
So the variety that was chosen is like Katimor. The Katimor is a hybrid between Arabica and Robusta.
oh, I never even heard that before.
Yeah. It's a hybrid. Now we have a lot of great hybrid, and there are also some other variety. A lot actually that because it was in the Royal Project, and when they gave away the seedling, it just mix and everything. So in Thailand, when you go to coffee farm, every coffee tree are just like mix.
Like a mutt coffee tree.
It's a mix. And what we did, only thing that we could do at the time 10 years ago was to improve the processing, how to actually develop the Katimor to taste better.
Okay.
And we can achieve that right now. For the past 2 years, I believe, we really focus on variety.
Okay,
So
interesting.
like now farmer rich, settled, you're great. Your life is great. Now it has to come to the point where we need to invest in variety.
So you're getting rid of the mutt trees and
Yeah, because this
focusing-
is really something that the farmer really reluctant to do it. And when I said invest in that sense, it's not that we're gonna let them buy the seedling. It's not like that. But to plant a new coffee trees, you have to wait 3 years until you can do the first harvest. So that means your production, your income gonna be less for 3 years. Right now, actually, like a lot of you're gonna find many more advanced farmer. Advanced mean they are more dynamic. They are really willing to change. They want to try everything, and sometimes it can be good, very very good. They want to try a new variety and think that sometimes it can be too quick. This is the downside of too fast of progress,
right.
because they willing to do and sacrifice everything without really having enough data to support a decision. So they can plant the geisha variety, which is very fragile. Like it's a nice, beautiful lady, but a lot of, like any beautiful lady, is a high maintenance.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad you said it. No.
so that's geisha.
Okay, interesting.
So also means that geisha is not always gonna survive in every part
Right,
of
right.
your village, so this is something that we need to look into, and that's why it takes longer than develop the processing part.
And plus you're also dealing with people, right? Personalities and humans. And I imagine not everyone is willing to give up some short-term gains. You're like, come on, do it for the global coffee industry. And they're like, I don't really care about the global coffee industry.
Exactly.
I have to put my kids to school, right? Like I need to make money.
Yes.
So
And so that's why I'm saying that, okay, now the processing part is great. Farmer in Thailand, they are not poor. Coffee farmer here is rich. Actually, they are.
I thought all the durian farmers were rich. I didn't think about coffee.
And why is that? Is because Thai coffee, it's quite expensive. But why I'm saying it's expensive is I don't want Thai coffee to be cheaper. Our goal actually is to make the quality high enough to justify the price.
Are you seeing young Thais adopt coffee culture more, or is that a trend you're able to observe? Is it older Thais? Is it young Thais? How is it
Well,
changing?
I can actually say that from Gen X, Y, Z, and even Alpha this day, yeah, the growth is so much. It's actually, if we see that the coffee culture change developed so much when the Gen Y, like me, and the beginning of Gen Y and like the Gen X, Gen Y, actually is willing to spend more on the value. And specialty coffee is about value. The value in terms of how they feel, how they see what the things that are using, the thing that they're eating, drinking are valuable or not, have a perceived value. So specialty coffee land that perfectly in terms of sustainability, experience, emotional products. You have a ritual there. You have a functional from it.
I think it dovetails nicely too with sort of Thailand's rising or growing middle class with a little bit more disposable income and the hip factor, the Instagram factor, all of these things combine. And coffee is such a really flexible and dynamic product that it can kind of fill any of those niches.
That's
right?
very true. And coffee is super flexible, even can match with any other industry as well.
I mean, it kind of, in North America anyway, in Western culture there, it started with Friends, the TV show, in 1994, I think it first came on.
Oh, I watch every episode.
Me too. It's my guilty pleasure. I love it. I will defend Ross to the end of time. He was one of the best physical comedians in that show. Bit of a doofus, but anyway, I mean, that really kickstarted the cafe culture in North America, or maybe re-kickstarted it. I don't know. But before that, it didn't really exist. And then suddenly it was really cool to go and hang out in cafes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that ever really went away. It just sort of evolved / mutated. And what we were talking about earlier was there's two ways to look at coffee. It's functional or emotional. And
Yes.
functional would be sort of like, I don't really care what it tastes like. I just need this can of iced coffee from 7-Eleven to swig before my bike ride, which is what I do. So I don't get a headache from caffeine withdrawal later in the day. It's just quick, down and dirty. Or it can be emotional, where you really want to experience it. You want to know and understand where the beans come from and the process that it takes to get from that to the cup
Yeah.
of brown liquid into your cup. So it's a very flexible dynamic.
Yeah. Very, very. The first wave was that functional drink. So we need a hit in the morning
Yeah.
just to wake us up. That's the first wave. So that's the instant coffee, as convenient as possible, fast, quick. Then the second wave came, and this is the place where we're sitting here, the Starbucks.
Yeah.
Starbucks changed that to have this cafe culture, a little bit
Right.
of that.
And I mean, I come to Starbucks 50% for the coffee, which is all right. But I come here because I know exactly what I'm going to get. Chairs are comfortable.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
air conditioned.
Yes.
I know the menu. I know the service is going to be good. The staff are trained well.
This is a thing because when people like when we met as well, when people see that I'm a coffee person, they'll be like, oh no, she doesn't drink Starbucks. Starbucks, like, she gonna hates it. It's not true. I actually really like what Starbucks has done for coffee, as
Interesting.
even doing. I love their marketing. They're my marketing guru, really. Even right now they struggle in terms of global business. I still keep really close eyes on how they're gonna make decision because they're huge, they're massive. And what the next move that they're gonna do is really interesting. And they always make a move, even desperately, but they survive. So this is really they're super smart. And the operational level is like, damn, they're so good at operational system. Starbucks is actually the second wave. And when I'm saying the second wave, is people actually come to hang out in cafes.
Okay.
They introduce the third place. Other than home, office, they introduce the third
The
place.
third place theory. That's a big one.
Yes. So when they come to the third place and when people come back, just want to get out and want to hang out, but they don't know where to go. So during the day, we don't go to bar, go to Starbucks.
My $1 million idea is to stand outside of Starbucks with a box selling duvets and blankets, because especially when just before university exams, because Starbucks are full of university students in front of their computers who sit here for 6 hours, but they're freezing cold, so they need to cover up.
Yes, and also when this is really interesting, what you just said that matches perfectly. The thing is, Starbucks, are they actually selling coffee or are they selling space?
The experience? Are they selling the comfortable chairs? Yeah, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I said, I think it's both. I think it's a little bit of both.
Yes. So when we talk about that, that's what I'm saying about whether when people ask me if cafes, all these specialty cafe are gonna survive, it's not like that. It's like it's really much a what are we selling? What are they selling? It's a totally different distinctive group.
You know, one of my favorite like small coffee shops was in Central World. I used to go to on the 5th floor, and it was called Alto Roasters. And
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but their coffee I thought was really good. Really good.
They actually have been around in coffee industry very long time.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
I think since 2014 or something at least. Yeah.
Wow.
And why I'm bringing that up is that because of the competition in cafes, right? So anyone who can stay and survive for this long and still very progressive, they're good.
They got to do something. They got to be doing something right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you were saying earlier about the process of coffee is interesting too. And I've told this story on the podcast before, but in Central World, when I was back at Agoda, there was a coffee shop we used to go to, and there was Starbucks, and then next to it was a Thai coffee brand I won't name, just sort of middle of the road coffee. And it was very, very clear the difference between the two, because when you went to the Thai coffee shop, the employees were like sitting down on the floor looking at their phone, and you have to be like nong 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 and ask them to come, and then they would be like bored, and then they would move slowly. You went to Starbucks and all the staff are trained. The process is boom, 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 the same every single time. And it made such a huge difference.
I really want to see the SOP actually.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really something that I always want to see.
Yeah.
Like this operation is amazing, and it's so true. And when we talking about all this now, Starbucks is a second wave, right? So it's a phenomenon. Like the world never seen that before. The next things that actually come only on the third wave. So after Starbucks, then the third wave was the artisanal roaster, and it came. The big player was the Stumptown coffee roaster, Blue Bottle, and when that happens, it create the hipster thing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was before 2010, around 2005, 2007, if I remember correctly, and they have the direct trade, which actually how the Gen Z and Gen Y at the time really perceive it as a really great value, because they want to make it sustainable. They want to get the farmer to get more income, So artisanal roaster became a thing.
Yeah.
More expensive, more craft. When that happened in Australia as well, in UK also have a many great roaster. It became a global phenomenon.
Right, right.
And then that's a third wave. Then the next wave, we just kind of blur. Because for me, I think right now, so the fourth wave is a science in coffee. When we're talking about science in coffee is how we're going to make it consistent. Because when we say artisanal, it also means that maybe tomorrow is not the same.
Okay, yeah, interesting, because it's handmade.
It's handmade, it's craft.
Just for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about cafes, with high competition, what cafe has to adjust is to actually make sure that the customer satisfied. They get what they want, right?
Yeah.
So this is actually come to the point where consistency matters. You cannot be only artisanal anymore. You need to be consistent in serving coffee to customer. Now that's not the roaster job only. The roaster has to make sure that they roast consistently, and then now it's a job for cafes and barista to make sure that when the customer came in, they get the same consistent quality every day.
Yeah.
So when people actually on the fourth wave of the science of coffee is much to do with how we roast well, it has to be repeatable. And then the cafes and the barista has to be able to make it consistent in terms of brewing extraction.
That's where training comes in.
Yes.
So as we're finishing up here, let's talk a little bit about Lamarzocco.
Oh.
Did I say that right? Lamarzocco?
Yes.
Now these are very high-end coffee machines.
Lamarzocco, why we have to actually question why it became this high luxury things. There is actually reason why we became a global icon on the specialty coffee, because we are very consistent.
Okay, there we are. There's that word again, consistency.
Yeah, very consistent in terms of brewing. Like if I'm gonna open a cafe, and I'm not saying it because I'm working for them, but I chose to work for them because of this. I know the product, I know quality, and to make good cafe business, to make it sustainable, you have to have a workhorse machine, never breaks, very little maintenance, and very consistent in brewing coffee. So machine is the only is a key, but it helps barista to reduce the human errors as much as possible.
Yeah.
So in this sense, Lamarzocco is just like the workhorse with intelligence.
A workhorse with intelligence. I like it. This describes me.
Because it's had a lot of innovation in it, and I love it. But also the brand itself right now is became a global icon that is in specialty cafes. That also means that any cafes that have Lamarzocco machine means they're serving good coffee. I mean, that's a community perception. the coffee itself, I wouldn't say bad coffee. Low quality coffee, if it's extract in Lamarzocco, it's not going to be good as well.
Right,
You know?
okay, yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that
It's not a magic solution,
It's not
right?
like the machine going to fix everything.
Yeah.
The key is the coffee. So the coffee is at its best in a sherry form on the tree. So we as a coffee people or even coffee drinker in general, our job is to actually keep that quality
Right.
from the farm to the cup.
Yeah.
That's all we need to do.
Yeah.
So anything in between that can help sustain that quality along the chain, and including the roasting machine, including the coffee machine, including a grinder, including people.
The staff training, the
Yes.
space that the coffee machine is in, the process,
And the knowledge,
the
I would
customer
say.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, because the next thing that I see the Thai coffee industry has to go, and it has to be more developed, is the knowledge. Next time, in fact, I want to let you try the Thai geisha that actually
I would love
I
to.
would say is the best. I love it. I mean, it's the best coffee that I ever tasted in my life.
Where can I get it?
Not easy.
If only I had a connection in the coffee industry. Well, Noon, thanks so much for talking about this. It's really interesting, and I'm glad to see that Thailand is in a unique position, literally, to have such a close relationship with its growers and the farmers and the producers and the sellers and the vendors and the cafes. It's good. It's optimistic. So it makes me optimistic about Thailand, another facet of Thailand that will be unique and exportable and high quality. So
Yes,
yeah.
thank you. And I really, now my life, coffee gave me meanings to my life. And I love it. I've been lucky enough to be on a journey, seeing it developed. And it's actually a great opportunity to come here and talk about it
Yeah.
to more, because coffee people, I tell you, we in our own bubble. I don't go out. I don't really see much of other people. So it's really something that
They're
thank
like
you for the opportunity.
wine people, you know. There's
Yes,
like this.
and I tried that too. Like why I'm saying that coffee gave me so much meaning is I tried other stuff too. You know, I tried wine, I tried specialty cheese, I tried chocolate, artisanal chocolate. I made chocolate before, and the only thing that keep me feel I love it. It's a love of my life, coffee. So yeah.
Well, like I was saying, my 11-year-old also loves coffee, which is a problem. But maybe he will be the next. He will be the next great barista in Thailand or something.
Oh,
I
not
don't
just
know.
that. From what I've heard, he might go deeper than that.
He might.
Really.
Yeah.
Yes,
Maybe.
yes.
Maybe he'll be working for you one day.
Why not?
Finally, pay some rent. Well, thanks, dude. It was great talking to you, and let's get together soon over a cup of coffee. Not Starbucks, though.
Thank you so much. Next time, I brew you coffee.
I'm looking forward to it.
And thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dude, it's so funny you found her to interview because I'm a new coffee guy the last couple of years. I've talked about it before, how I got into coffee through Nitro Cold Brew.
Yeah,
but,
it was a gateway coffee.
That's right. But it's so funny. I keep becoming more and more of a coffee guy. It kind of relates to what you were talking about, where when I started out, since I didn't know anything about it, I was just drinking random coffee. But now around my university, I've gotten a little bit of a snob, like where there's a particular proper coffee shop where, God, what do I pay? I think I pay, it's not too bad. It's 90 baht, but the faculty coffee thing is only 40 baht. And I used to drink that, but now I'm like, no. I got to go to this. I'm going to pay double. You know, I've got taste now.
That's funny. You're like, Ed used to be so approachable. Now he's like a super coffee snob. He's wearing black turtleneck sweaters and berets.
Well, I'm slowly, it's, I learned my lesson with wine, because I really don't think it's worth becoming a wine snob. You just end up spending more money. So it's like, I learned my lesson. It's just like you pick a price point and then just stay there. So I don't really want to become a coffee snob, but,
right.
I now I feel like I'm part of coffee culture. Coincidentally, I just bought one of those capsule coffee machines, and I had it just arrived yesterday. So I made my first coffee at home ever this morning. And I got to say this, it smells great. When you brew your own coffee or when it blasts the hot water through the capsule, it smells so damn good.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It was a great discussion with Noon, and what's fascinating about coffee is that it's sort of like it's like a noble gas. It kind of changes its shape to fit in any environment, in any situation. You know what I mean?
Damn! Look at the brain on this guy.
That's
bringing
right.
Bringing up the chemistry knowledge.
I played attention in chemistry class, but it's such it's gone ebbs and flows over the years. Like I talked about in the 90s when Friends was super big on TV, then everyone had to be at coffee shops, and people shit on Starbucks, but Noon, who would know, was like, actually Starbucks, it fills the need, and there's no point in looking down on it at all. So it was a really interesting discussion, and what she said about the Thai coffee industry being so unique because it's so close to itself. Like it's close to where the beans are grown and roasted and sold. So,
well, I love the fact that there is Thai coffee. In fact, I was at Villa yesterday and I didn't know anything about the capsules. And so I figured I'd buy, the capsules I bought are this Thai brand. It's actually a common brand. I've seen the brand. It's Doi Tung. So I'm showing you the
Doi Tung, yeah.
So my first home brewed coffee was a Thai coffee.
Nice. Did it get you buzzed?
Yeah, it worked. It was basically good. I don't really want a super sophisticated palate. So when I tasted the coffee, I was thinking, this is fine. It's good. It was really the smell that hooked me.
Oh yeah. Opening a bag of coffee beans and just...
That was great.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Noon. That was really interesting. And I'm saving my shekels to buy a really nice coffee machine one day. And I'm going to come to you when I have enough. So thank you for your time. And let's get together for a coffee. Actually, Ed, you know what? Noon shared with me her personal map of her favorite coffee places around Bangkok.
Oh, let's do that.
So now that you're a coffee snob, let's take her map and we'll check it out.
Sounds good. Thank you, Noon.
All right, let's get into some love, loathe, or live with, where one of us picks a particular aspect of living in Bangkok, which we discuss to decide if it's something we love about living here, loathe about living here, or have come to accept as something that we just have to learn to live with no matter how we feel about it. And this week, Ed, I got something for you.
Alrighty.
Now, keeping with the theme of beverages this week, I want to hear what you think about something that seems to be sort of like the standard, the default alcoholic drink when you're out with your pals sitting around a table. Nothing high so, you're not at an expensive club or anything. You're just out with your buddies, like maybe at a barbecue joint or something. And that is a bottle of whiskey mixed with soda.
Not a fan.
What's your take on that?
Not a fan. This is super Thai. So that sounds like a very general question, but actually it's a very Thai question because that is the default. Whiskey is soda. It's kind of a Thai guy thing, or when Thais are in big groups, they get a bottle. They're much more into. Yeah, this is an interesting little tidbit on Thai culture. If you, in the States, I don't know what Canada's like, but in the States, if you're at a normal like middle class or working class bar, no one buys bottles. No.
Bottles, it was a strange concept when I first got here.
Yeah, bottles are kind of a club thing. It's like if you're going to spend money, you're going to buy a bottle in a club, but it's not a normal middle class thing. But in Thailand, it is because I think because they have a lot of cheap whiskey, like really cheap whiskey, and so it is the thing when Thai guys get together. It's ice bucket and a bottle, and I'm not into it at all. I'm not a fan of soda. I like soda beverages like Diet Coke, but like straight plain soda, I'm not a fan of.
I just finished a bottle on its own.
That's gross.
Here.
That's gross. Did you have that with fish sauce and durian?
I'm with you, man. I don't like whiskey and soda. I like soda on its own. It's not delicious, but I think it's a nice sort of distracting beverage. But I don't get whiskey and soda. I think together they don't taste very nice. Now, I'll drink it if I'm out with people and someone gives me one. But I would much rather have whiskey and Coke or Coke Zero or a whiskey, whatever.
Agreed.
But whiskey soda, it never appealed to me.
Yeah. I would not call myself a hater. Like I'm gonna say I loathe it, but not into it all. But it's not. But I would say I'm a mild loathe. I never order it, and I guess I don't like it. So that's worse than to live with.
Yeah, I'll say mild loathe, begrudging.
Yeah. I'll begrudgingly drink it.
Yeah, fine. I'll have your free booze.
All right. A final thanks to our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a ton of cool perks and the warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that they're helping in our never-ending quest for cool content. Find out more by clicking support on our website. And connect with us online. We're Bangkok Podcast on social media, bangkokpodcast.com on the web, or simply bangkokpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners and always reply to our messages, unless, of course, you're an agent who sends endless pitch emails on behalf of a client.
That's right. You can also listen to each episode on YouTube. Send us a voicemail through our website. We'll feature that on the show. Hit me up on Blue Sky. I'm BKK Greg. Thank you for listening, everyone. I'll see you back here next week.
No doubt.